more.
Okay, so right after that wonderful rant about how you don't like preseason predictions or rankings or anything, I'm going to make you do some preseason predictions so then we can roll the tape at the end of the year and see how you did. Does that sound like a good idea?
I am looking forward to
burning
that. I am looking forward to burning that
the
film.
tape. All right, predictions. Pac-12 newcomer of the year that you're excited to watch. And Nigel, I'm going to start with you. Who you got your eye on?
Look, we all know that the Beavs have gotten it done year after year without a consistent signal caller. And now the man has arrived. DJ Uiagalelei. I'm telling you,
nailed it.
DJ is the man in Corvallis, and I cannot wait. You talk about a guy who can make all the throws, mobile, the things that he adds to the equation for this Beaver offense with all the weapons that they have coming back, a stingy defense led by Trent Bray. I'm telling you, everything is set up for DJ to be successful, and then he gets to face off with his brother later on in the year. Can't wait for it.
And that's where I'm going with mine. The Ducks defensive lineman transfer, Jordan Birch. For some reason, for me, this transfer fell under the radar. I mean, you pay attention to the quarterback transfers. You pay attention to what went on at Colorado, some of the new coaches. And Jordan Birch is a known commodity coming out of the SEC, super productive a year ago. And you combine him and Brandon Dorlus in the middle for this Oregon defensive line, that could be the best 1-2 punch in this conference. And it's a conference with a lot of quarterbacks, which we'll talk about. And if your defensive line can be a difference-making unit, that's a big deal when you're facing off against Michael Penix, when you're facing off against DJU.
Does it remind you of some bad memories that you had when you were playing against Oregon back in the
We're
day?
ripping it up.
I see as like a drop of sweat just starting.
Literally. It's making me like, oh, my shoulder hurts
at
for
Oregon
doing that.
used to give it to you.
When I was there, it was DeForest Buckner and Eric Armstead, and they changed the way you were able to call offensive games, and that is what I feel like this duo has the capability of doing.
Yeah, I love what Birch said, too. He was talking in the offseason about he had familiarity with Dan Lanning. He recruited him out of high school. He said he was my favorite coach that recruited me out of high school, and now they're reunited as it goes in the era of the transfer portal. Okay, surprise team. Maybe a team that one of those teams that we picked, maybe sixth or worse, to make some noise and maybe knock off one of those top teams.
Look, I realize I am a Husky, but the Cougs, baby. I'm telling you.
Clip that one. Clip that one.
You can clip it, write it down, take a picture. I don't care. It's the Cougs, because check this out. How about this for a schedule? Colorado State, Wisconsin at home, who they beat last year on the road, Northern Colorado, Oregon State, who they've beaten 8 out of the last 10 years. Now, they do have to go to the Rose Bowl and take on UCLA, and then they get Arizona. It is not a stretch to think the Cougs could be 6-0 heading to Eugene to take on the Ducks. And let's be honest, if there's a team that doesn't mind going to Austin and taking it and giving it to the Ducks in Austin, it's the Cougs. So I'm telling you, my guys in Pullman, hey, much respect.
That was the whole reason you brought this up, is just so you could get a shot in.
No doubt.
You're still a Husky at heart.
Okay.
I'm going to my guys in Tucson. I think the Arizona Wildcats preseason just got totally glossed over when you get into the back 6 teams. And their signal caller, like we're seeing right there, Jaden DeLora. I mean, this was a top 10 passing attack a year ago. Their 1-2 punch at the receiver position with Tater McMillan going into his true sophomore year and Jacob Cowing. That could be the best 1-2 punch at the receiver room throughout this entire conference. I think the offense stays explosive. Tater McMillan, former 5-star dude, they can put up some numbers. I just think don't sleep on Arizona. We forget this program was in the dumpster a couple years ago. And after 3 wins, now they got 5 wins a year ago. Jed Fish has a lot of confidence in that program. Don't sleep on Arizona, and don't count it as an easy win for any team in this conference.
I'm just saying there's a pair of receivers in Seattle going, oh, really? Okay.
And I take
Mr. Browne.
I take no hedge against that. My LA fan base can come at me. Keep an eye out on those dudes.
Well, on that note, Offensive Player of the Year, can it be anyone other than Caleb Williams for you?
I don't think so, and I think you're crazy to pick otherwise. We'll see what Nigel has over there. But I just think so much, especially in USC and Heisman talk, is that your life changes after you win the Heisman. Ashley, you said it. I don't get that feeling from Caleb Williams. To me, I've had the pleasure of being at a couple events with him this past offseason. It feels exactly like last offseason from an expectation standpoint, from a hype, from his confidence. He's in year 3 with Lincoln Riley. If he can stay healthy, I think this offense will be extremely explosive, and he's going to be right there in the thick of every player of the year conversation when it's all said and done.
Look, I'm going to be honest. It's not even the first time I got called crazy today. So it doesn't bother me at all because I'm going with my guy in Seattle on Montlake. Look, who led the nation in passing? It wasn't that dude in L.A. It was the guy in Seattle, Michael Penix Jr., to be accurate. And I'm going to tell you right now, my man deals to in my opinion, the best wide receiver combo in the league when you obviously talk about Rome Odunze, McMillan. I mean, the weapons, the offense, the way that Ryan Grubb draws it up. And the thing that I really love about when you watch Michael Penix's game is how he delivers the ball on time. He doesn't take shots. He doesn't have to take unnecessary risks. He knows exactly how to read the defense, where to put the football, all those different things. And I don't expect any of that to change in year 2 with this offense.
It was amazing to see him with a full season of health and what he was able to do and the numbers he could put up. And obviously, I hope he can do it again because I think he'll finish a lot higher than 8th in the Heisman voting if he's able to do that. Defensive Player of the Year. I'm going to go right back to you as my defensive guru. Who are you going with for your pick?
Look, all I know is this. If you spent time in Seattle and you went to Jesuit High School in Sacramento, California, if you're a Marauder, you got to be a baller. So, Liatu Latu, my man at UCLA, I'm telling you, this dude is an absolute nightmare to quarterbacks, offensive linemen, running backs. He keeps the entire offensive staff up for whatever during the week. I mean, he is an absolute nightmare. I mean, he plays like his hair is on fire, all these different things. And you talk about a guy in his story. I mean, he knows what it's like that you could have this game taken away from you at any moment. He was told you can't play anymore. And so when you watch him play, you see a guy who looks like he plays like it could be his last because at one point he was told that. Yeah. And so it's awesome to watch him play.
I'm going the pass rusher in Seattle, Braylon Trice. I love his story too. It felt like the past few years in the shadows a little bit of ZTF, and obviously ZTF had a huge 2021, and Braylon Trice just kind of waiting there, but extremely fast off the edge, physical, and getting the national respect too. When you open up some of the preseason NFL draft lists, he's right there, and I think with all the passing that's going to go on in this conference, there's going to be a lot of opportunities to get those sacks, find himself in double digits. And with this UW defense, you're not going to be able to double them because they have multiple pass rushers. I think Braylon Trice could be poised for a big year with a guy that's going to have his chip on his shoulder, knowing that if I show out this year, he'll be right in the thick of that first-round draft pick conversation.
Yeah, he had 9 sacks a year ago, and he's put on some weight in the offseason, so he is a beast. All right, your pick for who's going to win it. Who's going to win the league, Max?
I'm going USC, and call me a homer. Chill out, call me a homer. But you can fact check last year. I actually had Utah there. I just feel like USC, this is the depth USC has been waiting for nearly a decade. I mean, even through the sanctions era where depth was non-existent. But it feels like it's finally there. We're going to see that tonight. And when you have the reigning Heisman Trophy winner, all those weapons in year 2, another batch of transfer portal additions, I think this is the year USC finally gets over the hump.
I like it. I like it. Look, in the end, I think ultimately, I'm going to go out on a limb. Who's going to win the Pac-12? Whoever stays healthy. I'm keeping it real.
That's not going out on a limb.
That's
hedging your bet. That's coach speak.
Look, you've got 5 teams in my mind who can beat each other on any given Saturday. And here's the issue. Because we know that the Ducks were not the same without Bo Nix. And we know what happened when USC lost Caleb for a second. And then Michael Penix, Dylan Morris is a guy, but he's not Michael Penix Jr. And so when you go down the list of there's only one team, those guys in Corvallis, they could probably deal with an injury at the quarterback position and still be a similar team. So in the end, I mean, you look at right now in Seattle, they've already lost Cam Davis for the season, who was going to be their projected starter running back, and one of their offensive linemen. So it's going to be one of those seasons where if you not only have to have great production, but you're going to have a little bit of luck on your side to stay healthy because week in and week out, you're going to be playing a top 25 team. And if you ain't healthy, you ain't winning in this conference.
Whatever going out on a limb is, that wasn't it. I just want to make sure that you know.
Hey, crazy going on a limb, whatever. So.